Have you ever felt like you're always saying yes when you really want to say no? Here's the truth. If you don't set boundaries, someone else will set them for you, and trust me, they won't be in your favor. Setting boundaries is more than just telling people no. It's about protecting your mental health, taking back control, and creating space for yourself to thrive. Today, we're diving into how to set boundaries and why doing so is one of the most powerful tools you can use to protect your mental well-being. Think about how often you found yourself doing things out of obligation, or worse, guilt. Whether it's saying yes to extra work, agreeing to go to that social event you're dreading, or even letting a friend cross the line because you don't want to hurt their feelings, it all chips away at your mental health. Over time, it leads to stress, anxiety, and burnout. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to do more, be more available, and cater to others' needs. But what happens when we say yes to everything? We end up drained, overwhelmed, and unable to prioritize our own well-being. That's where boundaries come in. But here's the thing. Setting boundaries is not easy. In fact, many of us struggle with it because we fear conflict, rejection, or being seen as selfish. However, without clear boundaries, people will continue to take advantage of your time, energy, and emotional space. And that's where the real damage happens to your mental health. So, how do we go from being a people pleaser to someone who confidently sets boundaries without feeling guilty? Let's break it down into actionable steps. Before you can start setting boundaries, it's important to understand why you might be struggling with it in the first place. A lot of it boils down to fear. Fear of disappointing others, fear of confrontation, fear of being perceived as rude or selfish. Ask yourself, do I prioritize others' needs over my own? Do I feel responsible for how other people feel or react when I set a boundary? This is where self-awareness comes in. Realizing that setting boundaries is not about being mean or selfish. It's about self-respect and mutual respect. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. One clear sign that your boundaries are too weak is if you often feel resentment or frustration after agreeing to something. It could be in your personal life, agreeing to help a friend when you're already overwhelmed, or at work, taking on tasks that aren't your responsibility because you don't want to say no. Another sign is if you frequently find yourself exhausted. Emotional exhaustion often comes from giving too much of yourself without receiving anything in return. This isn't sustainable, and it's a major indicator that your boundaries need to be reassessed. Now, let's get to the hard part, saying no. The word no is powerful, but for some reason, it's incredibly difficult for a lot of us to say without feeling bad. Here's a tip. Start small. If someone asks you for a favor that you really don't want to do, try saying, "I'm sorry, I can't commit to that right now," or "I appreciate the offer, but I need to focus on something else." It's not rude, it's honest. People respect clarity even if they don't like hearing it at first. And the more you practice saying no, the easier it becomes. When you're setting a boundary, be clear, firm, and direct. If a coworker is constantly asking for your help during your lunch break, you could say, "I'm happy to help, but I need to take my lunch break uninterrupted so I can recharge. Let's talk after." Notice how there's no need to apologize or over-explain. You don't owe anyone a lengthy justification for protecting your own mental health. It's important to remember that healthy boundaries aren't about controlling other people. They're about making your expectations clear. For example, with a friend who constantly dumps their emotional problems on you, you could say, "I care about you, but I can't always be the person you vent to about this. Let's talk about something else." This isn't about shutting people out. It's about maintaining your own mental space. Setting a boundary is only the first step. Enforcing it is where the real challenge lies. People will test your boundaries, especially if they've been used to you being available 24/7. You might encounter pushback, but stick to your guns. If someone ignores your boundary, calmly remind them of it. "Hey, I know I said I couldn't help with that project this time, and I really need you to respect that." And if the person continues to disregard your boundary, it's okay to distance yourself or limit interactions. Remember, boundaries are for your protection, not theirs. Here's the pivotal moment. It's not about whether or not you're capable of setting boundaries, but whether you truly believe you deserve them. You deserve peace. You deserve respect. You deserve time to yourself without feeling guilty. When you start setting and maintaining boundaries, you'll notice a shift, not just in how others treat you, but in how you treat yourself. You'll feel more empowered, less drained, and more in control of your own life. The people who respect your boundaries will stay, and those who don't, well, they were never truly respecting you to begin with. Setting boundaries might feel uncomfortable at first, but the benefits far outweigh the temporary awkwardness. It's about self-respect, self-care, and ultimately protecting your mental health. By learning to say no, setting clear expectations, and enforcing those boundaries, you're giving yourself the gift of peace and balance. Remember, you're not being selfish, you're being smart. When you protect your mental health, you're better equipped to show up as your best self in every aspect of your life. If you want to learn more ways to protect your mental health, check out our next video or hit that subscribe button for more content like this.